Hello, everyone. It is May 17th in our year 2022. My name is Victoria McCoy. I'm the National Public Relations Chairperson, and the committee is proud to bring Commandant's Corner to you this month. The topic of conversation will be Marine for Life. That network program is an amazing program that is paired with the Marine Corps League to help our young transitioning Marines, our older Marines, anyone who has served, who might be moving around and needs a little advice, counsel, or, where's the nearest VA? How do I find a job? Help me with a resume, that type of thing. But you'll hear more from our representatives. As we kick this thing off, I always ask my National Commandant, Johnny Baker, to say a few words and introduce our guest tonight. Johnny? You're muted, sir. We're going to get Johnny off mute so he can start talking all over again.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes, Victoria. Thank you again for the great job you do. I hope these Marines do recognize it. We appreciate what you do for these Commandant's Corner. I think the subject that we're going to talk about tonight, Marine for Life, is very dear to my heart. I'm a big supporter of it. You have two gentlemen that's in here. They're co-chairman. Actually, I don't think one's over the other. They're such a great team. David Ocean is our Marine for Life Marine Corps League member, chairman, co-chairman, what we want to call him. He's up in the Kansas area, right? David?
I'm in Nebraska, sir.
Nebraska, well, close enough. And we have Mark Munger, who is actually a working, paid for Marine for Life coordinator for his district. Mark is also a Marine Corps League member, a great supporter of what we're trying to do here, and overall a great Marine Corps League member in his own right. So without further ado, thank you, gentlemen, both of y'all coming to the table. I appreciate it. And please instill your knowledge and motivate these Marines out there to want to go out and jump on the next guy to get them a job, to get them a place to live or something to help our Marines returning from active duty. So David, Mark, whichever one you want to go first, you guys got it.
Dave, kick us off.
Okay. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Victoria. Victoria, would you go ahead and share the PowerPoint on screen?
Hi, sir. Stand by. Where did I put it? Okay. Crazy lady trying to figure things out. Stand by. I know I got it here somewhere.
Quite all right. So, Marines, let me start by saying the Marine for Life network belongs to the Marine Corps. It does not belong to the Marine Corps League. It is their program. It is their network. A few years back, Commandant Neller and Sergeant Major Green requested that we become a force multiplier for the Marine for Life network. Of course, our National Commandant at the time, Richard Gore, sir, aye, sir, carried on by Wendell Webb, carried on by Dennis Tobin, carried on by Johnny Baker. We continue to try to grow our support for the Marine for Life network. Through these years, we have struggled for our membership to truly understand this mission. It is beyond simple is the problem. It is a network that helps transitioning Marines of any age find resources. From your first day on your first Marine base, when you needed to know where the chow hall was, or a tattoo shop, or the bar, wherever you were looking for, you asked other Marines. You didn't go to Google. You didn't go to the yellow pages. You learned how to network and learn where things are. Because of this, I know all of you in your own communities are great resources to help the Marines who are transitioning back home. Right now, we have somewhere between 32 and 36,000 Marines a year transitioning out. During their transition time period, if they struggle with a transition of any kind, that puts them at a much higher risk for mental health issues, suicide problems. Everybody hears about 22 a day. That number is atrociously incorrect. DOD is reporting somewhere closer to 62 a day right now, and that's pretty scary. So if we can have a simple program with a liaison person at each detachment eventually. For now, Mark and I would really appreciate each division and each department. Then we can do something about that. So sometimes a job, connecting them with the VA, connecting them with benefits, or just being somebody they can listen to is a great first step. So next screen, Victoria, please.
You know, we were talking a little bit about the general construct and idea. And like you said, it is a really simple mission. If we're able to show young transitioning Marines that we're willing to listen. I talk about this every time I'm able to address the body, whether it be at national or at the department, is for someone to ask to be connected to the Marine Corps League, when we show them that we care and we listen, and maybe provide them with, yep, we got some really good schools in this area. Oh, hey, the VA hospital is about an hour down the road in this town. That can answer a question. And what this is going to do is pay it forward so that maybe 5 years down the road, when they get to be 30 or so, when they realize that they've really, really missed that connection to brotherhood, they're going to remember that you listened, that you smiled, that you shared a story, that you answered their question. They're going to come back. And so it's good for everyone involved. And we'll give it back to Dave.
Everybody able to see the screen now? Okay, excellent. Appreciate Jason House in Nebraska's excellent artistic ability here. I think this puzzle piece kind of speaks for itself, but I do like to share it. As we're working with transitioning Marines that may include their family, certainly reservists are deploying now or certainly since 9/11 have deployed at a rate never seen before by our nation. They're going to struggle with transition as well. Or perhaps maybe at 50 years old, you'll be like me and choose to completely redefine your career and shift to a new world. I used my Marine Corps contacts and my Marine Corps League contacts to redefine myself at 50 years old. And I am grateful for the Marine for Life Network, truly helped me with that transition. So it's beyond simple. We start with understanding that this is a LinkedIn-based program. You can go to the Marine for Life's main website, and you can, if you're a young Marine, you can reach out for assistance. If you're a job company or entity, you can sign up to support the mission. For us, what we would like you to do is join the LinkedIn network for your region. And there's some overlapping with our divisions. Certainly you can take a look at their map, and it's pretty simplistic. You know where part of the country you live in, and you can join more than one network if you choose to. But getting involved, being available, start to build your own network. Now, a few tips I think are really important. A 22-year-old Marine does not care if you're a PDD or a detachment commandant or sergeant at arms or paymaster. They don't understand our rules and rituals, and they don't need to. We are here to support them and their families. That's the purpose of the Marine Corps League. Certainly reread our mission statement if you need to. We have a lot of really fun missions that we do in the Marine Corps League, and I would not devalue any of them. But if I were to, excuse me, redesign the Marine Corps League, I would start and stop with Marine for Life, because this encompasses our true mission more than anything else that we do. If we're not taking care of the Marines who are currently serving or have just recently left active duty or the reserves, then we are an irrelevant organization. Mark, chime in whenever you feel.
Great. Yeah. So I'll take something on that last slide with the LinkedIn groups. You know, Dave said we'd really like for everyone to have a presence on LinkedIn. Some of you might be saying, well, what is LinkedIn? The great thing about LinkedIn is you can go to their homepage and you can take some tutorials and you can figure out how to establish a basic profile. And if you'd really like to get involved, both Dave and I are going to be down in Daytona, and you can seek us out and we'll take you there and we can show you how to get a profile established. But one of the things that's very, very important inside your banner, inside that headline, is we don't want to mislead or misrepresent. If you're going to be a Marine Corps League Marine for Life liaison, which is fantastic, or you have someone in your detachment, we need the banner to look exactly the same for everyone. It needs to be MCL /M number 4L space liaison. Because if we start thinking that Marine Corps League members are Marine for Life representatives, which is our staff NCOs and officers in the Marine Corps Reserve serving in our IMA, which is their United States Marine Corps Reserve duties, we start potentially having a problem. But we have the opportunity to significantly brand ourselves as a Marine Corps League in this Marine for Life liaison role. So I think that's a very important piece, but we love to see connectivity. I'm seeing more and more people being active inside of our LinkedIn groups, and I'm very happy about that. So I think it can only grow some more, but like I said, be happy to talk more about that down in Daytona face-to-face.
On this next slide, you'll see several pictures. The IMA Marines, the staff NCOs and officers who run this program for the Marine Corps, are encouraged and at times required to set up networking events in their community. Many times, Marine Corps League detachments have supported and sponsored these events. And I think that's fantastic. Maybe it costs you a few pizzas. Certainly, I don't encourage detachments to pick up bar tabs. That's not really jiving with what we do. But we would also encourage you to attend these events. Now, you can look at these pictures. There are Marine Corps League members in all of these pictures. They're not wearing their covers. This is not a Marine Corps League event. This is a business event. This is networking. We would encourage you to wear business attire or business casual attire. A Marine Corps League polo would certainly be appropriate. These events are fantastic ways to get involved with the Marine Corps community. There is a big community outside the Marine Corps League who are looking for our leadership, because we certainly understand better than most how to develop our teams. So,
and David, as we're on that, sorry to cut you off. If you look at this picture, our Marine for Life networking events are more than just transitioning Marines or Marine veterans and potentially employers. These are gathering of the tribe at the grandest level, because we all know that as a veteran service organization, yes, we're about Marines, our corpsmen and our chaplains, but we also know that we have our fellow service members out there. And this is a great connectivity point at our Marine for Life networking events in our communities to gather the full brotherhood of the DoD. So we are not just Marine specific. We are here to help any veteran, any transitioning service member through the Marine for Life network. I get to harass some soldiers from time to time. We have some command sergeants major that I'll say, well, you do have to click I'm an active duty Marine at least once. So, they smile, bite their tongue, but we help them just the same. So I just want to make sure that everybody realizes that our networking events are not just about finding someone a job. It really and truly is a lot about connectivity of the tribe of being a veteran.
Certainly, there's a lot of information that can be shared at networking events that is not just job related. It's very simple to say, well, we can help you write a resume. Well, there's 1,000 organizations in this country that help you write resumes. It's really beyond that. It's as simple as, what's a good neighborhood in this town? I haven't lived here since I was in high school, or I've just picked this town after leaving active duty. I need the name of a realtor. Well, I live in Nebraska. I have the name of 5 realtors that are all Marines, depending on where you're going to live. And that's who I'm going to recommend. If a Marine owns a restaurant, that's where I'm going to recommend people eat. If a Marine sells cars, I'm going to recommend that's where people go. So it's about taking care of the tribe, exactly what Mark said. We are a family and we can take care of each other, but you can also, we all are very knowledgeable. Many of us have experiences with the VA, the vet center, good doctors in our community. It's very important that our medical care and mental health care be taken care of as we transition to. Moving on, the next steps for our Marine for Life Marine Corps League Marine for Life liaison team is we will be looking for new Marine Corps League members to help us grow this network. We are redesigning. We're going to be more involved with suicide awareness and prevention across the country. That former committee has been rolled into Mark and I's committee. And we have some interesting, hopefully extremely helpful things that we will discuss moving forward on that. But we're going to start at the division level. And once Commandant Baker gives us the go, we're going to have a conversation with the Board of Trustees about what we're looking for and hope that each division then assigns us a person to help us grow in that division. On this screen, there's a few bullet points here of what we're looking for in our members. Now we have, depending on the day you read the charts, 50, 60, 62,000 members in the Marine Corps League. We're not asking everybody to get involved. We're looking for the right people, the key people who understand transition, who understand the needs of these Marines and soldiers and sailors, and is willing and able to be connected through social media, available. If a Marine reaches out or their family member with a need, if we can't get back to them in 24 to 36 hours, that's an irrelevant contact. We missed our mark. So, we need people with strong networking skills, no bias towards religion, race, or gender, or any political issues. And your social media needs to reflect this. If you're a past national commandant and you want to join this team, and I look at your social media and it reflects extreme political bias, Mark and I are going to decline your request. So, and I know Commandant Baker fully supports us on this. We've had a conversation about this. So those people will be trained in SkillBridge, basic conversations about comp and pen, vet centers, GI Bill, voc rehab, and suicide prevention. These are some really key things. If you don't know what SkillBridge is, Mark can speak to that, but it's an excellent program by DoD to help people transition out. Mark?
So SkillBridge is a fantastic program. It's all about providing a transitioning service member that runway to gain a skill, not at a cost to them, that can either lead to an interview or to gainful employment. So this program works not only for the young enlisted person, but can also work for the retiring staff NCO or even the retiring senior officer. There is not a rank prejudice or bias involved with SkillBridge. There is a national repository that large businesses are able to register as a SkillBridge, and there's also a secondary means where if Johnny goes to company B in the hometown and hometown wants to hire Johnny, then they can come up with a way to get a SkillBridge accessibility. It's a little bit more complicated, but it can be done. So it's a very good program. And again, it's all in the lines of you get to go home, you get to go somewhere, get to get trained, learn a new skill, go back and you check out, and then you're on your way. So this can work for unionized jobs with things like veterans and piping, or learning how to become somebody who is putting in, water pipes in large commercial construction areas. You can learn how to do computer programming. The opportunities are limitless. So SkillBridge is growing every day. All services have a SkillBridge connection point at the highest levels in their headquarters teams with transition. And all Marine Corps installations also have a point of contact within their transition readiness teams devoted to SkillBridge.
You can spend your last few months on active duty being paid by the Marine Corps, but working for Duncan Aviation in Lincoln, Nebraska, or somewhere along those lines. It's exciting program. It's growing. When we're talking about who we're looking for to help Mark and I grow this program, we also would prefer Marine Corps League members who are not already overtasked. If your cover or you have 16 covers because you have too many jobs, if it's got 15 strips on it because you're a go-getter, that's great. I truly appreciate you. You're the heart and soul of the Marine Corps League, but we need people who put this mission first. This needs to be your first and most important mission to be successful on this team. Age is not an issue. Just got to have an understanding of what these Marines and sailors are going through so that you can be helpful. Okay. And 24-hour reply to text message, email, social media is going to be mandatory because it's necessary. Some of these situations pop up. It may not be an emergency, but it certainly feels like one to the veteran. But at the same time, they need to feel heard by what we're doing and what we're talking about.
And we're going to have methodology towards also building relationships and talking about foundational goals, how to talk with someone and provide them with measurable things to take care of. So there is going to be some training that's involved that's going to be beneficial not only for transitioning service member, but also it can be paid forward to Marines in your detachments and for veterans in your community. This is not just, it has a very, very large scope at how we can implement these tools.
The basic things that a candidate would need to know in their area is the location of the VA facilities and the vet center, locations of county veteran service officers, American Job Center, VA reps, educational opportunities, good schools, good community colleges, great businesses that like to hire veterans, housing and school information for transitioning families, and then, of course, be able to understand how to network and bring these people to events. It's a really simple part. It would be great if everybody that signed up for this was a retired veteran service officer that knew 100% of all the benefits available to transitioning veterans and retired veterans and their families. Certainly, we have a lot of good scuttlebutt these days, and a lot of us think we know. It's important to be able to help these Marines and sailors get connected to the VA, get their VA disability claims rolling, whatever the case may be, to help them. It'll be situational awareness and independent, but very important.
And something that's very important to remember also is the individuals involved on this team don't have to know all the answers. No one knows all the answers. The key is to be trained enough and be informed enough to be able to know where to go to find the answers and not be too prideful than to pick up the phone or send a quick email to a Dave to say, hey, I forget, what's that resource again? Because we're all a team and we don't expect anyone to know all the answers.
As I mentioned earlier, we are taking on the extreme challenge of addressing suicide awareness and prevention in our Marine Corps community and families. This will be part of our revamped training. The two resources that will hold the lion's share of the direction are the Focus Marines Foundation and the EAS ETS sponsorship program. Both of these programs are phenomenal. I've attended Focus Marines. I've attended the EAS ETS sponsorship. Both of them can really help our transitioning Marines and servicemen and women to get a grip on their emotional, physical struggles. We will encourage people who are joining this team and some who may not be able to, but still want the training, to sign up for the AAS sponsorship. It's excellent training, teaches you some networking skills and some conversation skills and some ice-breaking kind of skills. Mark?
And along with that, we're very much, we jumped in with both feet. And I'm so passionate about where we can go and how we can grow the resources through the CAS sponsorship program that I've gone through the process to become a senior trainer. So we're going to have the capability within the Marine Corps League that hopefully we can grow with at least things like midwinter and national conferences, that maybe we can actually hold training programs on site with Marines. That's something potential down the road that Sir Commandant is going to be able to decide on. But we're very serious about it, and we are taking the measures to become sponsors, to know how to train, and to be the best kind of advocates for these resources.
Mark and I would both like to recap a little, but what I'd like to say for the most part is I think part of the slow growth and the slow understanding of the Marine Corps League Marine for Life Liaison Program revolves around how simplistic it truly is. We're not passing out extra covers for you. This is neither Mark and I will probably spend a lot of time writing up awards for this. Maybe that's something we need to do in the future. But this is a heart business right here. This is taking the time to take a 9 o'clock phone call from a transitioning Marine or his or her spouse because they need some help, responding to emails, doing a little research, and knowing when you don't know to reach out to somebody like Mark or myself to find the resources. Don't ignore the emails, don't ignore the Facebook or the LinkedIn, but respond immediately the way you wish somebody had responded for you when you transitioned out. I remember my transition from active duty, and it was a struggle, and it didn't go in the way I wanted it to, and I probably ended up with a couple years more in a bar than I should have. Eventually, I got connected with a Vietnam veteran who helped straighten my life out and got me on the right path. Now, everybody in this organization is capable of doing that same kind of mentoring to our young Marines who are transitioning out. And it's time that we step up. I really appreciate everybody's time tonight. Victoria, Mark, go ahead.
So let me give a real quick overview because I didn't talk about this earlier. For those who might not quite understand how Marines find out about the Marine for Life Network, there's a couple ways that we do that. As the regional network coordinator in my day job, I try and get out to different units to provide briefs on professional development. So as I'm talking about education resources and why you need to have a budget and why you want to think about what you want to do when you grow up, we talk about how Marine for Life Network is something that is ongoing. From the time you step on the yellow footprints until whether it's 4 years or 30 years, you're always thinking about developing your future. And so if we can get that mindset of personal development in, they're able to build skills. These skills can either make them more competent and ready for promotion. It can get them more ready for their next career. It can keep them out of a bottle potentially, or just 24 hours into a video game if they're thinking about their personal development, going to community college. So these personal development aspects are all about skill building so that we can try and avoid those off exits, which are those challenging crisis situations, which is how our Marines get into trouble. The more prepared we are for the future, those obstacles are more easy to overcome or can be a little bit less daunting. So once they go to the transition readiness seminar, they are provided a block of training that is a short video and some conversation regarding the Marine for Life Network. Marines are not required at this point to click the button that says, I am requesting to join the Marine for Life Network. If someone does request to join, I'm going to be very honest. Usually that's somebody who already has a plan in place. We have a very big gap and they're still transitioning. This gap is a corporal who's sitting in the transition readiness seminar. They might have 2 monsters in front of them on Monday morning because they need those 2 monsters to stay awake because it was Sunday night and they got drunk. And they don't know 2 cents about what they want to do with their future. So the counter side of that is the person who sees the brief that already knows they want to go to college is clicking the connect button and says, yeah, I want to go to the University of Alabama and I want to study this topic. Great. That goes into our operations box. From that operations box, it's provided to the regional coordinator. For that one, University of Alabama, it would come to me. So from there, I look at it, I would send a welcome message and I would tie in a resource in Alabama, whether it's potentially to, hey, you want to make sure you connect with the registrar who is going to be able to connect you with the VA certifying official. And this is how you can get your GI Bill eligibility. Make sure they get all that information. And maybe they're going to get connected to still serving Marines and potentially they might get connected to another resource. That is a standard message. If the Marine reaches back out from there, they're also another potential resource is the Marine Corps League. If you want to get connected to your local detachment, let me know. I'll provide you a point of contact. That's just about exactly how it gets worded in my emails. If the individual reaches back out and says, yeah, I'd like to get connected to the Marine Corps League, then I go through and I look at the list that Dave has put together. And we look and see if we have a representative for a liaison for that detachment. We're definitely going to provide it to the department. So we're looking through and we're finding that name. If we don't have a name, what I do is I go into the National Library or into the national website there, I search for detachment. And I go down to say Tuscaloosa or Huntsville or whatever, and I'm going to find a name. That individual, along with the department coordinator, is going to get that email. The most important aspect is, like Dave was talking about, communication. If I send an email that says Johnny Baker wants to connect with this detachment, then I need for someone from that detachment to circle back and CC me from the Marine Corps side of the house. That way I know that things have happened. And I'd like to cite somebody who I know is on the call right now as a good way that we do this. And if I could bring Marine Westervelt, please, onto the call and talk about how Florida does a great job. I think Florida has been my most active state inside of the Southeast with making positive connections for people requesting to go there. And Scott can verify how I will send him information on the transitioning Marine. And he in turn has a partner in crime down there who I'm now sending information to, but they reach out to the detachment, and all along the way of those connection points, they keep me CC'd. Scott, do you want to talk about how your department does that?
Remember, I muted everybody, Scott, so you might be muted.
There we go. Yeah, I think it's very simple. In fact, we wait for the information to come to us, obviously through the network, but a lot of times we'll pick up stuff with folks that come floating into the area and we find out about them. How they get in the network isn't as important really as helping them. And so I have probably almost all of my detachments have a Marine for Life representative. We have 51 detachments, and I'd say we probably got about 42 of them that have somebody. That's pretty good. When we first started out, it was less than 50%. But and sometimes, like you said, we'll make one phone call contact, and we never hear from them again. But that's the Marine's choice. We'll help him and point him to local items that he's asking for, especially the family, schools, best areas to live in, short of giving them a police report. But we just try to take the experts in our units to reach out for what he's looking for or she's looking for. It's very good. It's not hard work. It's not.
Well, it's good work, and I appreciate what Florida's doing. All right, back to you, Dave.
So we're going to stop there and give opportunity for questions. So Victoria, I assume that you will control the question and answer portion of this. And Mark and I, or Commandant Baker, will respond to the questions best we can.
All right, very good. Now is the time where we talked about earlier how you virtually raise your hand, a little electronic raising of the hand, so we know in order the questions for these. And you can't tell me that everybody on this call now knows everything they need to know. There's a lot of questions I know are out there. While we're waiting for the hands to be raised, I'm going to share a story. I was at the Modern Day Marine last week. I was one of the first faces that they saw walking through the door, a lot of the active duties. And I had a story from a young Marine, asked, what do? I don't know what to do. As much as I would have loved to have, thrown an application in his face, that was not the time or the place. This young Marine told his story of, I'm getting out. Unfortunately, it's due to mental. I got PTSD, and my mother passed away when I was overseas, and I have nowhere to go. And my walkabout at Modern Day Marine, I found out where Stephanie Barnowski was located. I knew where her booth was, and I told that Marine that the Marine for Life network is where he wanted to start. So, that's the type of thing that we want to do. It's not about, being a league, wearing a cover or ribbons no, we're here for the Marines. And I was very happy to get that young Marine connected with the Marine for Life booth, and hopefully a conversation was had, and this Marine is now moving forward to be taken care of. I have some little yellow hands staring at me. So Bill, you are my first hand up. Ray, you are on deck. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, thank you. I'm working here in Georgia, and I do the Marine for Life for the state. The issue that I see is individual detachments not really giving the state level the coordination points. Now, I've had some Marines that have contacted me, and I've put them in touch with some other folks. We've made some phone calls, we've done some things, we helped some folks find places to live, we find jobs and things like that. But I encourage all of you to help detachments who think that LinkedIn is too difficult, or who think that the computer is just too new. I mean, we've got some detachments with folks who just don't have accounts, and we've got to help some folks that are a little bit younger maybe in the detachment step up and take a leadership role. And we do need to do this. I really think this is very important, and I'm pleased with the help that I've been able to do for some of the Marines in our area, but I would love to help more here in Georgia.
Shout
Thank
out to
you.
Bill, because he does a great job holding down the Macon, Warner Robins area, and is even able to reach out to the folks in Atlanta, which is where most of the transitioning Marines are requesting to go. So I appreciate all the work you do, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you for that testimonial. It's great to hear the good things that are happening from this program. Ray, you are up. Josh, you are on deck. Go ahead, Ray.
Hey, morning all. Just want to add on to what Dave and Mark had mentioned, and probably draw a little correlation here, but how many of all you guys have been involved in your chamber or involved in business? Just wave your hand if you are. Your simple correlation with the Marine for Life program is very, very similar to what you do with the chamber environment. You network, because that network allows you, one, to grow your business, or two, if you're looking to advance in your career, it allows you that network opportunity too. And I want to throw back my own personal experience. When I first come home from active duty, the very first thing I did was find a damn job so I get my structure back into place. And even with my involvement through time, you look at how you can continually advance your own personal growth. And Marine for Life is just a tremendous tool with a lot of tools in, well, tremendous toolbox with a lot of tools in that toolbox that help you as an individual make those connections, make that connection back into a civilian world, but not lose your military identity that you become. It helps you communicate that. So if that helps with drawing that connection or that correlation between what the Marine for Life is, again, bring it into the same limelight as a chamber networking opportunity is, and put that into a personal level. Chamber opportunity, you're growing your business, you might try to push your career opportunities, but in the Marine for Life, you're connecting with your fellow Marines, you're making that transition into your next phase of your life, and using all the tools that the Marine Corps League, the Marine Corps, and every element that's involved help you do that. So if that helps to amplify what Dave and Mark were saying, hope that helps make a connection.
Any comment, Dave or Mark?
Absolutely right. We, Chamber of Commerce, if I don't have a connection along with the American Job Center, I very, very regularly tell Marines to get connected to their local Chamber of Commerce, because just going there, you're able to find not only, usually a lot of them have a little job board associated with it, or ideas that are going major projects, but also it gives people an idea of who they need to try and connect with via LinkedIn in an organization that might have a job in their field of interest. So absolutely, the Chamber of Commerce is a fantastic resource.
Thank you so much, Ray, for that testimonial and story. That's great. Josh, you're up. Patrick Murray, you are on deck. Go ahead, Josh, you have the floor. We can't hear you. You're not muted, but for some reason, you're not coming across. All right, Josh, if you want to actually type your question in chat, maybe we can ask on behalf of you. We have no problem doing that. We're going to skip Josh Marks while he's getting his audio fixed. And Patrick Murray, you are up right now.
Everybody hear me okay?
Gotcha.
All right. I have a Marine here in Texas who brought up an idea that he kind of wants to figure out, and it kind of correlates with the Skills Bridge program that you guys are trying to implement. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, the diploma that I had for the service that I was in was pretty much useless. And a lot of the certifications when you get out of the military don't transfer over into the civilian world. And I guess my question is, if during that skills bridge phase, if there were civilian companies that could test Marines out, say if they're a welder, they could just test the Marine out to get them a civilian certification on the back end, so that they don't have to go through school all over again to becoming a welder when they're already a welder.
So Patrick, if I can answer to that, we absolutely, the Skill Bridge program is designed to kind of have that apprenticeship into potentially journeyman status if we're talking union. But we also have programs right now that might not have been there when you transitioned, but there's US MAP, which is a program if we can get a young Lance Corporal in a technical field, whether they're in engineering or they're doing diesel mechanics or various things like that. There's all sorts of MOSs relating. They have the capability of doing logs and logging in their fundamental skills from the entire time that after they've been trained through their EAS. Now, everyone doesn't do this particularly, but US MAP is available at the Education Center. They can learn more about it. And those who do that when they're getting ready for their EAS have more of a bite in the sandwich when you go for that certification. Another thing we have in relation to certifications is called the COOL program. So Navy COOL leads to MC COOL. You put in your MOS. Once you put in your MOS, it tells the different types of certifications that are available for that Marine to potentially test. So if you've been doing US MAP that schedules out these hours that shows you have the fundamental skills, then you go to COOL and you see what certification. Then we go and we marry these two things together, and potentially we're able to test out onto that skill, or we're able to counsel somebody and point them in line with maybe a skill bridge that can help amplify those skills, which would make them more qualified for that path. So from a Marine Corps standpoint, we try and utilize our resources to tie these things together. Is it 100% effective? Absolutely not. But we do try and provide the information so that people can find those resources to succeed.
I appreciate it, Mark. Is it okay if I have that Marine or get that Marine in touch with you just so you could explain that?
Absolutely. Please do. Happy to answer the question any way I can.
All right, thank you.
Very good, Patrick. Josh did type his question in the chat. I'll read it on his behalf. Do you all work with Veterans Treatment Court? We are trying to establish a VTC here in North Central Maryland, where there are only 4 in the state, and on the eastern side, MD, I think that's Maryland. The not-for-profit I work with handles the misdemeanor calls for law enforcement to help try mitigate litigation here. So I'm sure you can all, he did type that in the open chat. So Mark or David, can you respond to that?
In Onslow County, we just stood one up. I'm sorry, Dave. In Onslow County, we just stood one up. I think that it'll be a referral potentially aspect. I do think it's going to be an asset if we have them in our areas, because we will know. American Job Centers are another aspect. If you know your DevOps, not only is it just disabled veterans, but barrier to employment could also be you've been incarcerated. So there definitely is a relationship that we can amplify, but it's a very new program.
It's very strong here in Nebraska as well, and certainly some of the military personnel get involved with Veterans Court. There's a mental health factor involved, And the leniency shown to them by the court is often based on the fact that that military person may have post-traumatic stress, depression, anxiety, anger management issues that led to their incarceration. Certainly if it's a felony level, you know, it's not going to be involved in a veterans treatment court, or, you know, and then of course these mental health issues also will lead to alcohol and drug abuse. So I guess you could call it a cousin to what we're doing, but it is certainly connected. And I would encourage all Marine Corps League detachments to at least have a beat on what's going on with the veterans treatment courts in their area. We keep one of our BOT members in Nebraska on that team to keep our ear to the ground. It's pretty important. Thanks, Josh.
All right. Thank you, Josh. All right. I'm getting a little salute. So it looks like his question was answered. Good job. Wesley looks like it's my last hand up before we close it out and open it up for general questions. Go ahead, Wesley.
Yeah, good to see you again, Victoria. Yeah, last time I was at our meeting. All right. It's nice to hear all these positive things, but like I volunteered for this program back in 2018, 17, something like that. I joined every single LinkedIn network you can find. I figured the more connections, the better. Now, when I got out of the Corps, a lot of these things these guys are talking about weren't available in 1986. You had to learn on your own. Okay, there was no Marine for Life. There was, you know, I never even heard of Marine Corps League until 1997. So a lot of the things they're talking about, I had to hear, you know, learn on my own. After I got out, help with jobs was like non-existent. And I heard one man talking about MOS skills. In the 2,600 MOS, there are none equivalent thing. The only thing you could try for is like NSA, who I worked for, where you can put in for FBI, CIA, and the waiting list for those jobs are like, forget it. You know, you'll never get hired on. So I became a New York State Correctional Officer. They were the first ones to call.
I think you're kind of making the point though,
Wes.
Wes, I think you're making the point that we need to change the system. It was a failed system when you got out. That's the whole point of this mission. It's not to tell the Marines that it was harder when you got out. We need to fix the system that failed you.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm leading all up to that. Since I've joined, I have tried several times over the past 4 years to get some kind of direction or leadership from the higher ups in this organization. And every time I make a contact with somebody through Dave or Dean or somebody else like that, I get 1 or 2 phone calls, 1 or 2 chats, 1 or 2 emails, and then everything comes to a screeching halt.
Are you referring to
Now,
your
this new
leadership
program
in the
that-
Marine
that
Corps
coming
League?
up, This EASDS program. Say again?
I'm asking, are you referring to your leadership in the Marine Corps League or the Marine for Life Network?
The Marine for Life Network. Oh, Dean knows all the issues, and so did Dave Brady when he was Commandant. But I'm talking about the Marine for Life Network. Now, I've run into, on my own, about 9 or 10 kids that just got out. And they asked how I go about this, how I go about that, and I showed them. And to prove a point, we were at a gun show in York one time, and this kid, fresh out, second day home, I asked him in front of Dean, who's the Commandant for 521 now, did they mention Marine for Life to you when you were getting out? Because I hear they get 40 hours of training before they get out. And he said, yeah, they mentioned it. And that was it. That's all he said. They mentioned it. These kids have no idea about these programs when they're getting out.
Okay. Yeah,
When
yes,
I
sir.
had first volunteered, I went down to headquarters Marine Corps. And I had a talk with the Sergeant Major for about 3 hours. I said, if you want this thing to work, this is what we need to know.
All right, Wesley, I'm gonna have to shut you down for a second.
Area, so
I'm-
we can contact
I'm
them.
going to be
What?
muting. I'm going to have to shut you down for a second and let Mark and Dave actually speak on this. You're saying a lot, but there's not a question present.
Okay.
So let Mark respond to some things here.
So one of the key things I picked up that you said, Wes, was the individual, you're talking to a young Marine who just got out. Did they mention Marine for Life Network in the transition class? And you said, yeah, they mentioned it. So I have to go back to the point that I said, when they mention it, it's up to the individual service member at the time. So if you've got a good instructor in front of you, they're going to say, hey, the Marine for Life Network, let's take out our personal computing devices. Everybody in the Marine Corps now carries one of these things. If they don't have that, they've got their laptop in front of them. We tell them to go to the marineforlife.org. They can go, they can click on the blue button. They don't have to go and click on the blue button. And again, I have to emphasize, I'm not happy to say this, but the folks that don't necessarily listen are the ones that haven't figured out what they want to do. So
I know that.
When we come back now, and then give me a sec. You got involved with the program 4 years ago. There's a couple of things that I picked up on that you said. I see the frustration because I've had it locally with my guys too. How am I supposed to help if I'm not able to functionally get touched by a transitioning Marine when they're getting out? I can't provide you with the list of people that are going to Pennsylvania. No state has access via the Marine Corps to getting a listing of Marines that are getting out. So we don't have that asset. We have to go along the lines of, if you're at the mall or you're wherever and you see a young Marine in their polo shirt or their ball cap, and you reach out and touch them and you give them some love and you say, hey, Marine, how you doing? That's where it all starts. And if that's how you're getting in touch with these young service members, then that's also a win. And it also allows you to mentor.
Why can't we publish a pamphlet, at least a pamphlet or a booklet of every Marine for Life liaison in whatever area, whatever state these kids might be getting out to? That way they can look and say, oh yeah, I live in York, that's who I contact.
So you're talking, where are the representatives located? Is that what you're asking? Where are uniform?
The Marine for Life liaison.
Okay, so
the name changes regularly.
That's a great idea. And Dave has got a database working, but we need to have broader exposure. We could at least put something together once we have it. Where it would be housed might be a question, but starting at the department level, and then it might be on the departments to be able to say, if you are the Pennsylvania Marine for Life liaison for the department, then maybe you have your own subsection in this roster that says where all of your liaisons are across the state. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, see, like every month, the Marine Corps knows how many are getting out. And what
That's a different issue, sir.
Huh?
That's a different issue. We don't.
No, I know they're not going to tell us.
Access to the names of people transitioning.
I'm not saying they're going to tell us, but they know. They know who's getting out to where.
Wes, we can only work on what we can fix. We're not here to complain about the Marine Corps today.
That's
right. That's not what I'm saying. No. I'm not trying to complain. I'm trying to get us to where we can get the information in the hands of these kids in writing. Because not everybody has one of these.
Okay, Wesley, you can. Yeah, I'm going to ask you to kind of take this offline a little bit, or we can discuss it at a department convention in person. I hope to see you there. But we do need to shut this down. We're at the top of the hour. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing your story and bringing some things to light here. And I hope we got some answers for you. If not, offline conversation is always welcomed. Now is the time where I will see, I don't believe, Johnny Baker is still here. Johnny Baker, I'm going to let you close it out with a few notes while we're still recording. Come on in. And of course, thank you to our VIPs for being here for the Marine for Life. And I hope somebody got something. Johnny, are you unmuted and can close this out?
Can you hear me okay?
Gotcha.
Okay, listen, this is, Mark said something earlier that struck with me. This is a no-brainer. This is an easy fix at the detachment level. If you run across a Marine or those names come to you through Mark, sometimes they get a hold of the local detachments to help them out in the local area. You just need to know what's available in your local area, such as career centers, local schools, local colleges, things that you already are aware of, things that you're very smart in. But the big thing is getting your hands on this young Marine. You see them in the parking lot, you see them in a grocery store, wherever, and try to help these Marines. The list is not going to come to the Marine Corps League. We fought that battle. We're not going to get a list from the Marine Corps itself because that's a privacy issue. We're just not going to get it. So whatever we can do to tell our story, to get them in there and get them help. Remember, you just got to help one person.
Where'd he go? We lost our Commandant.
Said he left the room.
No, I don't know what happened. My computer just went dead. But just try to help find one Marine out there. You can't help the second Marine till you help one Marine. And I think Mark and David both would tell you it just takes one Marine to help him, to get him on the right track and to assist him. The assets are in your communities. You know where those assets are. You get a hold of that young Marine, you help that young Marine. Don't let go until he's got everything that he needs, because it's about the tribe. It's about the brotherhood. Thank you very much, Victoria.
All right, motivating, Johnny. Thank you for that. As we close up the hour, I'm going to stop the recording. Then we'll have more social time together. Our next Commandant Corner is scheduled for June 15th. That is a Wednesday, June 15th, 1900 Eastern Standard Time, where we will be bringing on board. Our guest will be the Florida Marines, our Florida host department for the National 99th Convention for the Marine Corps League. And they're going to be talking about some events that we're doing in Daytona Beach and all the fun stuff therein. So bring your questions to the next month's Commandant's I can't even talk anymore. Commandant's Corner. And remember, this is not for commandants. This is not for any of the big wigs, if you will. We want our newest members to be a part of these, to ask questions about what we're doing in the Marine Corps League and why we do it. So Semper Fidelis, good night, everyone, and good night, Chesty, wherever you are.